You are watching Midnight Movie Talk live from Los Angeles, and we are in celebration mode tonight because theatrical is back like it was 2019. And we couldn't be happier because what's the number one thing that this channel is founded on? It is the love of movies and especially the theatrical experience. And tonight, well, technically last night at midnight, you have the chance to go see Super Mario Brothers, the movie, opening night. Let's look at sales right now here. Let's start in Burbank and just look at the sales on this, technically the first night. You know, look at last night, they had the midnight screenings going back to like what we did with Harry Potter's. You remember the Harry Potter films back in like 2011? They do those midnight screenings. And then the studio said, you know what? We're making so much money at this. Let's just do it earlier on Thursday night. Here's the 9:30. Let's look at it. This is packed. This is 90% full. I mean, the first two rows don't count. I've been in that theater a million times. It's a huge IMAX. Doesn't count. That's a very good Wednesday night. I keep thinking it's Thursday. That's why we're doing it tonight, because it's a weird week. The kids are on spring break this week. That is why Universal slid this film up to Wednesday. I mean, they technically could have gone on Monday. A lot of kids on spring break with Easter coming up on Sunday. Let's look at the 11 o'clock Dolby Cinema. That's getting late, but that's still looking pretty good. Let's go over to Universal. Universal has the largest IMAX in Los Angeles. This thing is massive. It has to have the most seats in all of LA. 1115. They had one just went off a few minutes ago, but look at that. That's totally stacked too. This is looking really strong here on this opening night this Wednesday. So as we did get that sales check, the next question becomes this. What is going to be Super Mario's box office number? So as we we have a little bit of a cheat sheet for this rare time because it's a Wednesday. We have some numbers from last night and we wrap those into what's happening today and we go right to Deadline. Deadline's the best for box office. I'm not going to spin it any other way. They are the number one reporter when it comes to box office early numbers. Looks like they have it at 127 for the five. That would be 26 million today. That's a very good number, right? So that would be an $86 million 3-day, 125 for the five, Wednesday through Sunday. I'm going to actually put that number. We're going to go higher. We are going to go with 142 million on the 5-day here. I'm going to go higher because this film is really a wild card, right? It has so many things in play right now with this film that I think that we can shove this number up higher than what they have right now at about 128. I'm going to go 142 for the five. So get in with your reactions to your box office predictions now. Also, what did you think of the film? I know a lot of you had a chance to see it, if not last night at midnight, today. Were you as disappointed by this film as I was? Now, I want to make something clear that some people can't seem to figure out. How is it that we can be super supportive of a film that we don't necessarily recommend you go see? Because we want to see everything win in the theatrical environment. Go see it. If you want to see it, go see it. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you might not. But a few of you already in the chat telling me you're a little disappointed by it. And I believe that because it is a disappointing film. It could have been so much better. Like we talked about the other night on the stream. This film is so much stronger with a Lord and Miller rewrite. Give them this material and you're going to get something like the Lego movie. There is no reason whatsoever that the Lego movie should be as great as it is. But the reason it is stellar and so creative and brilliant is because of the minds behind the script, Chris Lord and Phil Lord and Chris Miller. So you have the two of them, two of the smartest, funniest guys in Hollywood, writing a film that is so smart. And then you come to this and you go, oh my God, like that just shows you talent in writing, the difference between the Lego movie and Super Mario's movie. It's just two different universes, okay? And the other thing that a lot of people were coming at me with my tweets and even the stream the other day, oh, look, you're not liking a kid's movie. Well, wait, hold on. Are you telling me that this audience that you're seeing here, this possible $140 million 5-day opening, is all kids? No, it's nostalgia. It's young adults who grew up playing the game. I told you I had the first Nintendo Entertainment System with Rob the Robot, and you grab his little thing and stick it on another thing, and then the trap would open up, and you had duck hunt with the gun. It's nostalgia. That's so disingenuous of an argument. I can't stand people like that who go, well, look at you hating a kid's movie. What? Yeah, it's a cartoon, but it also, half the audience is adults. So it needs to play on multiple levels. It does not play on multiple levels. Now, does this film work as, fan service for fans of the game, of any kind of Nintendo game, whether it be Mario Kart or going back to Super Mario, whatever it is? Yes. But again, you can still do that and be creative and make it interesting, and it just doesn't have that. It just doesn't have that. And here, Indie Fandom agrees. This one's bad. I mean, maybe okay for super young kids, but I'd rather see the 90s one again than this. And that's the thing, right? This movie is made for little kids. Alex, I didn't think it was good, but also not terrible. It's not terrible. I think when Grace Randolph, people were like, look, you and Grace Randolph agree. No, we don't agree here. Super Mario's not terrible. It's incredibly underwhelming. There's a big difference between those two things, right? Terrible is something like Cocaine Bear. This isn't terrible. It's just a colossal disappointment. Those aren't the same thing, right? You guys understand that. Give me a thumbs up if you get that. But yeah, it's not terrible. There's plenty of issues. The 7-year-old of course your 7-year-old liked it. It's perfect for young kids. It's just not multi-layered like we expected. When you think they're going to make a Mario movie, you're like, this thing's going to be, Chris Lord, Phil Lord, I'll finally get it right, Lord Miller, and Lego movie. That's what I'm looking for. And then you get none of that. And you're like, damn, this is so disappointing. A lot of scenes were forced, fell out of place, and the very thin plot was sidetracked because of that. With that said, a lot of fan service for people who love the game. Exactly. That's fair. It's not a terrible film. It's not terrible, is borderline unwatchable. This is a boring film. There's very few laughs. The number one problem I have, and those of you who've seen the film, tell me you didn't notice this. Please tell me you noticed this. It's a big time issue with me. We had it happen in Shazam, and we had it happen in Super Mario. When the writers reuse a joke that we just heard minutes ago. So in Super Mario movie, you have Bowser, right? Jack Black Bowser. And he says at some point, I'm really coming out of my shell. And you're like, okay, it's a turtle. It's a lame joke. We'll let it go. It's fine. No joke. Minutes later, here's the princess. They're getting ready to get married. And here comes Bowser again. A girl like you really helps me get out of my shell. And I'm like, oh, why? Who thought that was okay? If I was in the test screening with Universal, and I'm in that room, I go, listen, you can pick one of those two, but you're not going to reuse that same shitty joke. Those are the things that can't happen. How does that happen? Shazam, for those of you who bothered to see Shazam 2, it was the Skittles bit, taste the rainbow. 5 minutes later, the girl's like, taste the rainbow, motherfucker. And you're like, what? You just said taste the rainbow. It destroys the joke the second time. It wasn't good the first time, but it makes it worse the second time. 2023 is a great year for films. We got so much to talk about tonight. This is a stacked show. Okay. I mean, I have so many things to discuss. This is like a Sunday night show on a Wednesday because there's tons of movie news that we need to get to. But I do want to touch on this. More comments from you guys. Fill it up. Get in the chat. And remember, as always, super chat, you're in fast. That's how we do it. This really bugged me yesterday when I'm going to pull up the tweet. When I saw this tweet, I go, I can't stand, just like I can't stand the writers who reuse jokes. I can't stand when someone goes on and says something this lame. Okay, so let me pull it up. Discussing film, I mute. I can't, it's just nonstop, just reusing other people's content. You all got to stop listening to these critics. They just hate fun, and then points to the 46% Super Mario Brothers movie. Kira won't miss. You missed here. No, we don't hate fun. I have never, okay, gone into a movie and wanted it to be bad. I have never, searched out a film and going, I can't wait to destroy this film. Have I had major concerns with films? Yes, but I still watch the film, see the final product, and then go from there. This is totally ridiculous to accuse a critic of hating having fun. I mean, I'm like the only, well, I'm not the only guy, but according to you guys, the only guy who liked Ant-Man. And Ant-Man was fun. Ant-Man 3 was fun. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. And so if I hated fun, I certainly wouldn't like Ant-Man. By the way, the Wi-Fi is going in and out. So if you're just hearing me, it's all good. We're still here. We can just do a podcast kind of thing too. So this is BS. I can't stand when people do stuff like that. Critics just hate everything. They don't want to have fun in a movie. God almighty. Another thing I want to touch on, and then we'll get to your comments. Get out and support Air this weekend. You guys know how much I love this film. It is entertaining from start to finish. It's an old school throwback kind of 80s, 90s film we rarely get. Wholesome, whole family can go, but yet it's smart. It's elevated, right? You're taking your kids to see an adult movie, but yet they will get everything in the film and they'll maybe level up when it comes to movies. When you see something like that and you're a little kid, you challenge them and then they grow cinematically, which is ultimately what we're hoping to do, right? With the younger audience. When they watch Super Mario, they're just like, brain dead. But then when you watch Air, you are elevating everything because the movie and the ensemble, just everything about it. Affleck and Damon working together, Jason Bateman. We talked about that scene that he has with Matt Damon. He's talking about his daughter. He's divorced. He has his daughter. And the thing that keeps them bonded is the fact that Bateman gives his daughter Nike shoes. It's a really touching scene. It's one of the reasons I have Jason Bateman as a legit supporting actor candidate later this year when it comes to awards. It's that strong. You're always looking for, whenever you're doing awards forecasting, whenever you're trying to get the landscape settled, you are looking for moments in films that say, this is it. This is where I all of a sudden now view you as a legitimate candidate for whatever category it is. And that doesn't just have to be acting. It can be anything tech. It can be certainly direction, screenplay, whatever it is. You are identifying something that all of a sudden stands out and goes, this is worthy of being awarded. And Jason Bateman is that in Air. You need to go see this film. And we also need to support it for one huge reason that we touched on the night we did the stream. Amazon taking a chance on this film theatrically. Netflix wouldn't do it. We know that. Netflix, they still don't know what they want to do with theatrical. They're still playing like it's 2020. It's not. We're over that. In fact, tonight I got into it on Twitter with somebody talking about, in a moment we'll discuss it, Five Nights at Freddy's, that, why can't we just get these movies at home? You can get them at home. You just have to wait like you did before. Now you just don't have to wait 3 years. 3 months. 3 years. A long time. 3 months, you got to wait 17 days. I mean, for Top Gun Maverick, 4 months. Whatever. Go to the movie theater. Don't be scared. We've said that now since this channel started. We started this channel when Batman came out, right? And people were still like, I don't know. If I go to the movie theater, I could kill everybody. I could die. There's still a very small segment of the population who believes that. And if you are that person, it's okay. We're not going to judge you. Well, we are sort of going to judge you. But you don't get to call the shots. That's the thing that we have with so many people these days. They whine and bitch, and they got to have it their way. No, we are not going to capitulate to you and your whims. We're going to make you sit it out for a couple of weeks. For those of us who have been going to theaters since the whole thing started, when we drove to Vegas to see Tenet, when they shut down all the movie theaters in LA, couldn't go to the movies. I had to drive to Vegas with Chris Gore to watch Tenet. 4.5 hours each way. So some of us have been doing this the whole time. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, no problem. But stop whining and demanding shit at home for you. You will sit it out and you'll wait. That's how it's going to go. We're not going to, we're going to kowtow to you because you complain. No, actually what we're going to do is we're going to ignore you. We need more of that in society. Ignore them, they'll go away. I mean, God, if I if I went after every troll who came after me on Twitter or here, I'd spend the whole show doing that. You ignore and they disappear. That's the key. You do not kowtow to them. Let them go. All right, next thing I want to get to, then we'll get to comments. I promise you guys. I touched on it. Universal has decided to go day and date with Five Nights at Freddy's. And this is a film that is Blumhouse, as you guys may or may not know. And Jason Blum has many comments talking about streaming, the future, this, that, and the other. But yet, if you look at the films that he's put in theaters recently, he's had success. Look at The Black Phone, Blumhouse film. Big hit last summer. So why are you doing this day and date thing like it's 2021, 2020? Even 22 had some of that. We talked about that with the Batman. Even into last year, and then obviously there's still some people that are on the fence. But we can't be doing this day and date anymore. The only thing that it points to for me is this film good? If the film's good, then you're going to have it theatrical only. Why are you putting it on streaming? Can someone explain that to me? Is there an answer to why Jason Blum and Universal has decided to go day and date, which means on Peacock, with this film? All right, comments to you guys. Let's go to it here on this Wednesday night show. Galliette, welcome to the channel. Super chat, you're in. You know that. Spins a web any size, catches shills just like flies. Yeah, the shills and the complainers and all those people that we just don't put up with, right? I mean, how many other movie shows are out there that would even say half the things that we say? Oh, I can help you if you got. Come in the chat. Give me a thumbs. 0, right? 0. I was watching. I'm not going to say who it was. Someone said, watch this person. It's in the chat. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let me just be straight up because that's what I do. I went to, I've never even heard of this person. I went and watched, go check out the chat. Go to the very beginning of the chat. You'll see who it is. And I watched the person doing their live stream and I was like, this person has 100,000 subscribers? This person's boring. This person just mispronounced Tom Sizemore's name. What the hell is happening here? That's what I'm venturing. The more and more I don't do it to me. Don't start pointing out people that have, 50,000 followers, 100. I don't want to do it because I go to watch and I go, what the? Who? This is 100,000? This milquetoast boring ass bitch? Who else does that? Who else? No one. No one else does that because that's what we do here. We get crazy and we just say what's on our minds, and it's not personal. It's just the reality of it. If I was nice and kumbaya all the time, how could you even be a critic? I would come out of Super Mario Brothers and be like, oh, it's so much fun. It's just a lovely little film. It's disappointing. And the reason it's disappointing is because we had one shot at a Super Mario's movie, animated Illumination. You had it and you screwed it up. You gave us a forgettable film when you could have delivered something even remotely at the level of, I know I say it every time I'm going to mention Super Mario, I'm going to bring up the Lego movie because that's the perfect analogy. Why do we not have something like the Lego movie and instead we're stuck with something for 7-year-olds? Why? Who is that idiot, Matt Jarbo, by the way? I don't even know. Yeah, whatever. Here. Okay, let me, since I'm here, I only looked for a second. I saw something. When I looked at that guy, I said to myself, you're the reason that God gave us hookers. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. There's the poster child for prostitution. I think we're done. I think we're done at that point. Who else would do that? Nobody. That guy. What an idiot. These people are hilarious. They make me laugh, though. They are funny. It is Flickinger. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, fine. That's fine. It's great that it's fine. Mega YouTube. I'm just telling you when I watch, right? When I'm watching something, it's just like the critic thing, right? You watch the person and you go, okay, what are they bringing to the table that is interesting to me? Now, people are going to certainly watch me and go, this guy's like too much. It's full throttle. It's like the high volume. The whole thing is just too much noise. I get it. That's fine. It's not for everybody, right? If you're trying to be for everybody, then you're going to be for nobody. And then you're like Matt Jarbo. But, there he is. But, so you're going to have people that are obviously always going to be a critic of you. And that's part of what you do. You put yourself out there. That's what we did when we started the channel. And for the people that like it, they like it. The people that don't, they don't. That's fine. It's not my job to make everybody, come together. Otherwise, it would be boring. You'd be milquetoast. You'd be Chris Stuckman. I mean, Chris Stuckman is arguably one of the most boring human beings I've ever watched. But he's popular. But he's dull. So listen, this is what the same skills I bring into a film review, right? It's you have to be honest and just unvarnished. Otherwise, you're going to be, you're not going to be able to do what you're supposed to be doing there, which is to evaluate the film. And I think that you have to go outside the box of niceties. You just have to, and I don't know anything about. By the way, I don't know anything about Chris Stuckman. I don't know the guy. I've never met him. I'm not saying anything about him as a person. He might be a nice person, but you could say, here's the issue I always have is if you're going to be a critic of somebody, then do it. Say this person doesn't know what they're talking about, and here's why. This person says this and that, and this is why it's wrong. Don't come in and throw down just the ad hominem attack. That's just like, I don't like him because he has his hair parted to the right. Because he has a goatee, because he's trying to look like Robert Downey Jr. Like, be better. Come up with something better. But they can't. So that's why they resort to shit like that. I don't like him because he has a yellow football shirt on tonight. And he wore Crystal Palace the other night. What's he doing wearing Crystal Palace again? Because it's a theme now. We're going to start doing, we'll wear one and then wear that. So I don't want to talk about it. Let's just focus on us, no one else. No, I'm not gonna do any. No, it's Galliet. I love the super chats, but I can't do it anymore. Anything else, we're good. Universal Studios in the house. This is Brad. I run the social media for Universal. I understand your love for theatrical. It's about driving subscribers to Peacock. I love when Universal and all these studios like Lionsgate, Warner Brothers, they show up in the chat. And they say that this is Brad. I believe Brad was also from Lionsgate. So Brad, there's a lot of Brads working for studios. And this is probably true, even if it's not Universal. The reality is that this is about driving subscribers for Peacock. And but here's the question. Can't you do that with a theatrical window of at least 17 days? I would suggest 30, but let's call it 17. And then go to Peacock. Why day and date? For those of you who don't know, day and date means simultaneous, right? In theaters and streaming same time. If that's the case, then you lose a big percentage of the audience who would obviously watch at home. If someone gives you the opportunity, now we're different, right? We're cut from a different cloth. All of us. We love the movies. That's why you're here. That's why it's midnight movie talk. Okay? It's not midnight streaming talk. And the reason that we love theatrical is because it is, and they are, our cathedrals. And we go to these places because they give us a feeling of, essentially, yes, it is a worship of cinema. We are, when I'm there, and I'm sure you feel the same way, when you're in a theater, you feel like this is the only thing that matters. And that's the beauty of it. It is the only thing that matters while you are there in the theater, in your chair. Hopefully no one's texting to the right, left, or in front of you, or talking behind you, or kicking your chair. Assume that none of that's happening. A movie theater is a sacred place. And that is why we discuss these things like, why are you putting this on day date? We want to protect theaters. We want to keep it the sacred place it is. And the way that you protect that is give it a theatrical window. So I'm not happy about this. I'm very unhappy about this decision for them to go day and date with Five Nights at Freddy's. I want to know what the answer is for that. Okay, we have to talk about this. We have to do this. Oh my God. Tell me you're with me on this. Please tell me that I'm not the only person who watched this Barbie trailer and were like, what the fuck am I watching? What is this? You can see it in the corner. Now, I don't have the sound up. It's just an ad, so we're not actually watching the trailer. The first thing I want to say about this is, does Ryan Gosling work as Ken? When I watch this, I go, I don't know if that's the best casting. Okay, that's the first note I have. Margot Robbie, perfect as Barbie. She looks absolutely like a Barbie doll, so that works. But there's something about Gosling in that weird blonde hair, and he's a little too old. I know, watch out, says the guy. But he just feels a little too old for Ken. I love Ryan Gosling, but this thing is cringe central. When you watch this, you're just like, this is cringy. Now, as I tell you that, I want to mention that I trust Greta Gerwig. I think Greta Gerwig and, if you don't know, Noah Baumbach, they are an item. They wrote this thing together. So I trust that this will play on multiple levels, unlike Super Mario. You have two very smart writers in Gerwig and Baumbach. So I am going to do my best to remove the cringe from my head from watching the trailer and trust that Gerwig and Baumbach have something up their sleeve that they're not showing us. Because all I can tell you from watching that trailer was, this looks bad. Like, this had better be some kind of, I know you guys are going to like lose your shit right now, but be ready. Don't worry, darling. I will defend that movie forever. You can't stop me. You know, right? It's the movie, but yet it's something else. Let's hope that it is. It's got to be some kind of commentary about trying to be the perfect woman, right? That's what Barbie, like all the little girls are like, this is what the ideal woman looks like. This tall, blonde, super skinny, drilled into their head since they were little. Well, I don't know about it anymore, but when we were kids. So I'm betting that that's what they're going to do. They're going to use that and subvert that and turn it into something completely different. That's the hope, because I'm telling you what, tell me, guys, did you watch this trailer? And if that is the truth, what in the hell are we doing here with this film? If it is what it looks like. Barbie trailer is pure cringe for me, but maybe they have something fun in store. That's what we're saying here. Maybe, Kusma, that is the case. Hopefully that is the case, because it is the kind of thing you look at and you just go, this is not what I want to watch. But if it were from anybody else than Gerwig and Baumbach, then I would be like, oh, we're in trouble. But because we're with them, I think we'll be okay. I do. The executives above me run whether or not it should be 100% theatrical or day and date. I don't have any answers. I just run the social media. This is great. Universal's back in. I got Ghostbusters 2016 vibes from the Barbie trailer. That is Sleepy Skunk. That is definitely not a compliment, right? Definitely not. Oppenheimer versus Barbie. Right now, Oppenheimer looks really good. Looks to be in great shape. Here's my issue with Luke. Thanks for being here, by the way. I think it's maybe one of the first times I've seen you. Oppenheimer is the kind of film that concerns me. Again, the thing that pleases me and gives me certainly relief is the fact that Nolan is directing it, because you're telling a story that we already know the final, right? We know how it ends. So at that point, we have to figure out a way to make this thing interesting, and look no further than Air. Air is exactly the same thing. We already know that Nike gets Jordan and creates Air Jordan. So has to be able to, and this speaks to Ben Affleck and his talents, to be able to deliver that film like that. So that has to happen. Mega YouTube. Thoughts on TV? I'd rather watch a 2-hour film that's bad than commit. Yes, 100%. That's why I don't watch a lot of series. There's too many. There's too many series. And there's also too much of a time commitment. Look at Succession. I have not watched a single episode of Succession. If I all of a sudden do that, I am now opening myself up to 3 seasons? So that would be, is that 8 per season? So that would be 24 hours, and that's probably on the low end, right? There's got to be an episode. Let's just call it 24 hours. That's a day of why. Listen, it better be the best thing I ever watched if I'm going to sit through 3 seasons of a show. I started Breaking Bad late. I didn't watch Breaking Bad. I got through like the first 2.5 seasons, and then I kind of put it down. I never came back. I got through it. I enjoyed the show, but I just was like, I don't want to commit to this. That's the other reason. It's a great comment here, Mega YouTube, that the beauty of film is that it's self-contained, unless you're watching an MCU film and then you have to watch all the shows, and that's one of the reasons they're failing. They're starting to get the fatigue, is that you have to do this homework outside of the films, and that's asking a lot of people. So when you look at a movie, like let's go, like tomorrow, I'm finally hoping to go see 1001. I've wanted to see this film for a long time. It's been out for a week. Okay, a long time, a week. But I just didn't be able to work it into my schedule. It's Focus's new film, debuted at Sundance, looks really grounded, looks like the kind of film I like, gritty. But it's self-contained. It's 2 hours and I'm done. I don't have to do homework. I don't have to, watch anything else. I'm just there and it's over. That is one of the things I love about film. It is an experience for that 2 hours. Hopefully it's not over that. Hopefully it's under, and that's it. And then we go home and we have the memory of that film. Hopefully it was a good film. Then we have good memories. If it's something bad like Cocaine Bear or Scream 6, then you have horrible memories and you have nightmares that night thinking about the movie and how terrible it was. I mean, that's a good question. On Sunday, let's do this. Let's do the worst film so far of 2023, along with the best. I'll do my top 3 and worst 3. You guys already know. This is going to be so easy. You're going to come on Sunday and you're going to all guess what they are. But it might be, because listen, Super Mario, you might think is way up there. I told you, Super Mario is not terrible. It's boring. It's not, there's nothing about that film that is interesting to me. Whereas, here it is again, Lego movie. Any Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is so much better than Super Mario, right? I'm going to pretend from this point forward that Wreck-It Ralph is the Super Mario movie. I'm not going to acknowledge that Super Mario was ever a movie. I'm just going to say Wreck-It Ralph was the Mario movie. That way I can have good memories of Mario on the big screen. / Wreck-It Ralph. Actually, no. What's the name of the character? Fix-It Felix. I, honest to God, have not watched that film in like 5+ years. I saw the sequel, not as good. But Fix-It Felix. Don't Worry, Darling was okay. No, but it was well directed. I'm telling you guys. Theatrical is in no danger. 100%. I agree, but why are we even doing day and date? It doesn't make any... Winnie the Pooh was terrible. These are good comments. Let's go to our next thing, and let's talk about this. Joker 2 wraps production. This is a film we're going to get in 2024. But as you may or may not know, today, Todd Phillips on his Instagram, here it is. Let's pull it up. These are the 2 photos that he brought. One, Lady Gaga. Of course, Harley Quinn. There she is in the same elevator, right? Looks like it to me. And then we have Joaquin as Joker, looks like a bus. Right, he's on the bus. He's being transported on the prison bus. So we got those 2 today, and this film comes out. What's the date? It's 2024. It's got to be award season 2024. I don't even see the date on it, but it's got to be. But one thing I want to mention as we talk about Joker 2, it's a Warner's film, as you guys may or may not know. Hopefully you know that, because you're here on Midnight Movie Talk. You know that kind of thing, right? You guys know any studio that a movie has, right? The studio that the movies. If I throw out a film, okay, any film in the history. Let's say in the past 10 years, let's just go 10 years. If I threw it out to you and I said instantly, hey, by the way, what studio was Drive? What would you say? That one's hard. That one's really hard because that studio does not really exist anymore. If I were to ask you what studio was Social Network, these are this. So when we look at Warner Brothers, they have too many Christmas films. Someone pointed this out. They said, hey, did you notice that Aquaman is going to be right there with Wonka? So Warner Brothers has all these Christmas films. So look at this. You've got Aquaman 2, you've got The Color Purple, and you've got Wonka, all scheduled to come out within like 10 days of one another. Wonka's supposed to be the 15th, and then we get Aquaman now on the 20th, and then we get The Color Purple on the 25th, Christmas. That is 3 films from one studio in 10 days. I'm telling you, one of these is moving, and I'm betting it's going to be Wonka. So when I saw this, I go, something's got to give. That is, no studio wants to have 3 movies in the marketplace at one time. Even if they are different, right? So Color Purple is going to go for the adult drama. That's going to be the older audience. Then you have Wonka at the younger audience, but will bleed into the young adults for sure, and even into the older people remember Wonka. And then you have Aquaman, which is kind of a little of everything too. So Wonka and Aquaman are 4 quad films. So when you get the two of them in the same ring in the same date, that's not good. That will cannibalize. One will cannibalize the other. One of them is going to move, and I'll bet you it's Wonka. I bet you that we're going to get a Wonka delay soon because Warner Brothers has too many films at Christmas. Something I noticed, by the way, nobody else is doing that story. That's why you come here to Midnight Movie Talk, because we are smart. We are ahead of the curve. We see things ahead of time. And we predict the future. Well, almost always. We are very, very good at that. Also want to mention this, and then we'll get to your comments, because this, like I said, we had a million things to talk about tonight. Here it is. Let's look at who is going to be in MAXXINE. Hold on, I had it. Did I not? Give me a second. MAXXINE. You guys know what MAXXINE is, right? Yeah, you better. It's the third in the series of Ty West's X and Pearl, and now we got MAXXINE. So today they put all these new people in this thing, right? So this is going to continue from X as MAXXINE goes to LA to be, I guess apparently she's going to make like underground films, like porn in the 70s, in the 80s, which is going to be amazing. But look at all the people they added to this thing. Kevin Bacon, Michelle Monaghan, Lily Collins, Elizabeth Debicki, Cannavale, Halsey. That's totally an A24 move, isn't it? So all these people are going to be. I can't wait for MAXXINE. Comes out in 2024. But I just saw that they were doing this, and there's the little teaser here. Let's see the thing that obviously looks like the Hollywood sign. X is one of the best directed films of last year. Better than. Remember, when we're stacking the Ty West X series, we were putting X number 1 and Pearl's number 2. I think Pearl's very strong, and Mia Goth is stronger in Pearl than X, but X is a better film, a more satisfying film, more traditional, Texas Chainsaw remix. It's easier to digest than I think than Pearl is for a lot of people. X is a stronger film. I can't wait for MAXXINE. Set in the 80s? Are you kidding me? I cannot wait. I am so excited for that. Okay, let's get to it. Comments. It's wide open time because we have gotten through all the topics tonight. If there's something you did not hear about, if you want to discuss something, do it now. Do it in a super chat. Do whatever it is. Let's go. Let's do it. Cell phone. WB probably wants to get rid of it as soon as possible, the current DC slate, while making some cash. Yes, but did Gunn say that they're getting rid of Aquaman? Did he say? I don't remember him saying that. Did he? Tell me in the chat. If he did, then yes, it makes sense. But what's weird is we talked about this the other day when we were talking about Jonathan Majors, that whole situation. By the way, no updates. The best thing that's happened for Jonathan Majors is that there's been a million other stories that have come into the news cycle. Trump's arrest. I mean, think of all the things that have come in since that happened. That's what we discussed that night when that news broke. The thing that Jonathan Majors needs is stories to pile into the news cycle so that it gets further and further away. That's what Marvel wanted. That's why they didn't even address it. I would have addressed it, had some statement, but the reason they didn't is because they wanted you to forget about it. And guess what? You already have. In fact, you probably just, Jonathan Majors. Oh, that's right, Jonathan Majors. So if you are trying to get your people to forget a film, then yeah, that would make sense. But look at what's happening now with Flash. The early word is the film's amazing. From people who've seen it, people who've seen the test screening say it's like great, not just good, great. Tom Cruise says it's amazing, and he's not the kind of guy who would say that, right? He loves films too, just like he would be very much a guest here at Midnight Movie Talk. But as we look at Ezra Miller, could Ezra Miller actually stick around with Warner's? I mean, could he continue with The Flash? If this film ends up being a huge success and Ezra stays clean throughout, as he has for the past, has it been 3 months, 4 months? It's been a long time. The Ezra watch is going on like day 150. At the plant, how many days without an accident? That thing is now at like 150 plus for Ezra. Days Ezra has not been in trouble. So the longer that goes, just saying, I'm telling you, I didn't think I would say this, but remember, time heals all wounds. That's what Marvel's hoping with Jonathan Majors. It just disappears. And with Ezra Miller rehabilitating his career and staying out of people's houses, not stealing liquor bottles, not choke slamming women in bars. Ezra, we are proud of you here at Midnight Movie Talk. And if we could give you a super sticker, we would. Not for your past behavior, but the fact that you've been able to stay away from trouble for, someone help me, 150 days? It's a long time. He's fixable. He's proven he might be fixable. And the crime of the whole thing is, other than the crimes that he allegedly did, if you want, stealing a liquor bottle is technically a crime, is that he is very talented. He is very interesting. Go back and look at him, and there's something about Kevin in Perks of a Wallflower. You see a future stud. You see a star. You see a kid that is fearless, that's interesting, that is an actor, and you go, this guy is going to be big. And then this whole thing happens. That's why he got Flash. I mean, when you watch Perks of a Wallflower, and hopefully you guys have seen that. If not, that's your homework tonight. I have another film for homework. I'll get to it in a minute. But if you have not seen Perks of a Wallflower, you need to watch. I love Perks of a Wallflower. Now, listen, I know it's based on a book. I'm not in love with the story, but I love the feel of the high school kids, right? The camaraderie of this group of misfits. That is a good film. So maybe, Ezra Miller, he's not done. I think if this film does well, DC needs Ezra to be Robert Downey Jr. Ken Murray, good to see you tonight. Do the time, whether jail or rehab, then put talent to proper use. I don't think he has to even do jail, does he? There's a fine. Nowadays, you can burn police cars and get out. They don't charge you. So I don't think stealing a vodka bottle is going to get you very much. Might not even get you a fine. They might just be like, just don't do it again. That's what we do now, right? In the big cities here in Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York. We know that you just assaulted somebody and robbed the place with a gun, but we're just going to let you go back into society because we just don't want to deal with it. We think that you can be rehabilitated on the spot. There's the social commentary tonight. There it is. Sleepy Skunk, any incarnation of the Justice League from the Snyder era, finished. Affleck, Cavill, Godot, Momoa, Fisher, and Ezra. Warner Brothers even told the girl who plays Supergirl in The Flash that she's not coming back. That's right. She's in that. But listen, Sleepy Skunk, things can change, right? Everything is negotiable. Even if they told him it's not. Here's how it changes, and what am I going to say? If The Flash hits 1 billion worldwide, now that is being super bullish, like excessively bullish. But if it were to go to 1 billion, let's just say that the movie is unbelievably great and everybody loves it. The word of mouth's fantastic. People are excited to go see it. There's like, it's The Flash. It's still DC. I don't care if these characters aren't going forward. It's still a DC movie. Here we go. It's got to be better than Shazam 2. If this film makes 1 billion, then all of a sudden Warner Brothers is like, hey guys, listen real quick. Can you get her? Listen, we told you you weren't going to be in any more movies, but we just made 1 billion. So would you be amenable to coming back and being Batgirl? Supergirl, my bad. Yes? Okay, great. That's the phone call that'll be happening. That'll be happening the second this thing hits a ton of cash. Okay? Robert Downey Jr. did the Elton John video the day he was released. Ezra be fine. Well, Robert Downey Jr., thank God that Paramount took a chance. Yes, Paramount. They had Marvel. They could have had Marvel. Paramount. Can you imagine being the executive who said, "No, we're not gonna purchase Marvel. I know we have Iron Man, but we don't really want a deal. We just think that we're gonna keep it." Well, you had 1 billion, zillion, quadrillion. Help me out, guys. Franchise, and you just gave it away to Disney. They came in and go, we'll take it. I mean, they had it, right? Paramount, but they took the chance on Robert Downey Jr. And if you do not have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, the whole thing does not work. So as such, it was essential you get that right. And there's certain people when they're cast, certain actors, actresses that they're iconic to the role. And Robert Downey Jr. is that. I would argue Chris Pratt is for Guardians of the Galaxy. He was perfect. I remember talking to Mia Finn, who's the casting director who she's the Marvel casting director. I talked to her at an event, FYC event, like last year, 2 years ago, maybe it's 3 years ago now because of COVID. But she was discussing with me, if I haven't told the story, you're getting it. The only time you've heard the story is here on Minute Movie Talk. That's why you come, because we get the inside information because we're here in LA. We're not like off in some random small town in the middle of nowhere. We have connections here in this town. And I'm telling you, when I talked to her, she goes, when we were casting Guardians of the Galaxy, Gunn wasn't even as interested in Chris Pratt as she was. She said if it wasn't Gunn, it was many people at Marvel. She told me that she had to fight tooth and nail to even get him to read. Once he read, they all were like, here he is. But when it was the time, they're like, that's Chris Pratt, Parks and Rec. He's this chubby guy. No, he got in shape. Look at the pictures. Remember that? Remember the in shape Chris Pratt? I talked to somebody today at the gym. I was at the gym. We were talking about movie stuff. Of course, that's how it goes at the gym, talking about movies. And I said, do you remember how Chris Pratt changed his career? It's because he got himself in shape. He was this chubby guy from Parks and Rec, and then all of a sudden, here he is. Hold on. That's not, no. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys, this is technically a physique critique. And by the way, it all wraps back in because it is Chris Pratt who plays Mario. So there he is. This is not him, what we're talking about. This is the picture. Hold on, let's find it. Where's the one of him jacked? Come on, computer. Why is my internet sucking tonight? Those of you who can hear me, please just stay here and bear with it. This is the shit internet that we have here in Burbank. But you can hear my voice, I hope. I think there's still something. There's like a tiny spigot going through. Chris Pratt. Where's the picture? Hold on. Let me find this is good that the internet's screwed up for me. Here it is. The shirtless selfie pic. When he did this was him. Okay, here it is. Can you guys see this or not? Give me a thumbs up. Come in the comments. Tell me what you see right now. There he is. This is when his whole world changed, right? You guys have seen the picture. If you're listening to me, my voice only, then you know. But this is, Finn had to fight for him because they were all like, that's Chris Pratt, he's fat. And they're, no, look at him, he's got a six-pack. That he changed his whole life. And so did Ryan Gosling. You look back at Ryan Gosling when he was doing films back in 2010, right then he started hitting the weights. Go back and watch Drive. It's when he started putting meat on. Go back and watch Place Beyond the Pines. He was jacked. He looked great. He looked amazing. I mean, Gosling looked, did I say Chris Pine? I don't know what I said. Gosling in Drive and in Place Beyond the Pines. But this is Chris Pratt. But this is what Finn had to fight for because they didn't know that he looked like this. They're like, who's the pudgy guy? No, Chris Pratt's jacked. There's your physique critique. I would say this is good. Now, this is not as good. The other one, in case you missed it, this one is, if I had to, this is the before, and this is the after. Hold on, this is not the after. Give me a second. This is the after. This is not as good as the before, but, you know, that's what happens when you don't hit the weights as much and you start eating foods that's not as good for you. And you're not on a diet that Marvel's hooking you up with. Traps and procreation. The first one. I know there's so many ads. You know why? It's Daily Mail. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. It's Daily Mail. And the thing about Daily Mail is I love Daily Mail. Listen, you guys can make fun of Daily Mail all you want. But Daily Mail is great for a little bit of everything. Like, if you want some gossip, let's just look real quickly. Here's Daily Mail. Let's just look at the front page of Daily Mail. My internet's going, you suck, internet. I'm going to fire. If I could fire my internet company, I would fire them today. Right now on the spot. They'd be fired, and we'd get a new internet provider. This is terrible. It's only 9:48. We're only going an hour tonight. You got 12 minutes. Get super chats in if you want to get in. 12 minutes. 12 minutes, we're out. Unless the internet just cuts out, and then the channel, then it's over. Well, I can't do anything about it. Okay, hold on. Chris Pratt is always one sandwich away from fat and one salad away from fit. He's straddling the line, is what you're telling me. He is straddling the line of fat and in shape. The after is post-military shape. Guy who has freedom and drinks, more post-military. You know, that's true. It's a great point. It goes to, he got in shape. Did he not get in shape for Zero Dark 30? 2. I think that was it, right? Not Zero Dark 32, but for that. I should get paid for all those ads. It's just a bulking phase this guy did. I try not to do the bulking phase. I'm naturally just thin. Someone in the comments said I'm not skinny. I'm thin, man. Whatever. What do you want to do, dude? I hit the gym, I work out. Stop harassing me. Stop sexually harassing me in the comments. I didn't think Joker needed a sequel. It was fine the way it was. Yeah, but why do we have a sequel, Kuzma? Why do we have a sequel for Joker? Someone help us here. It made over $1 billion worldwide. And when your film makes $1 billion, just like we talked about with The Flash, all bets are off. When I talked to Todd Phillips, the year of Joker, it wasn't even at $1 billion yet. And I talked to him at a party up in the Hollywood Hills. Yes, I am name dropping all the stuff I'm doing right now. But as I was there, I said, Todd, you know they're going to ask you for a sequel. This film is nearing $1 billion. It was almost there. And he goes, I know. He goes, I know they're going to ask for a sequel. And I said, do you have ideas? He said, well, I'm thinking about it. Of course you're thinking about it because you're going to be asked to do it. And now it is. So that's why, just like The Flash, Ezra will be back as The Flash if that thing hits $1 billion. Easy. Take that bet right and give me a like and come back and bookmark this exact second. He will be back if it gets close to $1 billion. Ezra Miller is back as the Flash. But he was fired, but he's not. Why? $1 billion. Wreck-It Ralph 2 was the worst film Disney made in the last decade. No, wrong. Strange World is way worse. Okay, yes, I understand what you're saying, Eric. It didn't ruin the character, but the first film was the best. It's very good. Disney animation, no question. Wreck-It Ralph's a fantastic film, and Wreck-It Ralph 2 is not good. You guys, I'm glad I'm doing this at the end of the stream so no one can cut this out, but I'm going to tell you something. You guys are all going to lose your shit when I say this. You guys ready? Here it comes. I think that the Emoji Movie is a better movie than the Super Mario Brothers movie. I mean, at least the Emoji Movie had like various corporations in it, right? That kept you interested. He went into the world and they had the actual apps. Like there was Twitter and Spotify and whatever the hell else was a company back. What was it, 5 years ago for the Emoji Movie? I mean, it's been an eternity, pre-COVID. But the Emoji Movie was not great, but at least it had corporations that kept me interested. The Super Mario movie has nothing that interested me. It was like, just here's the most generic adventure that Mario can go on. And there they are in the carts, and there's Donkey Kong, voiced by Seth Rogen. Doesn't really work, but I didn't hate it, but it didn't work. You know, the whole battle of them, like on kind of the maze that Donkey Kong is, that doesn't work. The jokes being recycled. The Emoji Movie is better than Super Mario. I don't care what you guys tell me. I didn't know you could do emojis in here. You're saying it's shitty? Yeah, it wasn't great. Never saw the Emoji Movie. Now I know. Live action remake. You need to watch. This is your homework tonight. There's 2 homework assignments, guys. Let me get to the first one. The first one is the Emoji Movie. You must watch the Emoji Movie. Now that I told you that it's better than Super Mario. Number 2. This is the real one, because if I don't do this at the end, I'll forget. The one that is your MMT homework is to watch Short Term 12. We've talked about this film before. It was in 2011, 2012, 2013. I want to say 13. And Brie Larson and Destin Cretton, the director of Shang-Chi. This was his first feature to my life, right? I think it was his first. But you go back and look at Brie Larson, Rami Malek. Who else was in that film? So many actors came out of that. What's her name from Booksmart? Caitlin Dever. There's so many actors. Stanfield. Lakeith's in that. There's so many actors in Short Term 12, but it's not just about that. It is a grounded film about at-risk youth and working at basically a detention center for these kids and the counselors that deal with them. It's a great film. Short Term 12, if you've not seen it, you need to add that to your queue, along with the Emoji Movie. That's what you get here at MMT. Here's your homework. Watch Short Term 12 and then the Emoji Movie. You're like, what the hell is happening? It's excellent, Sham, right? 100%. I handed in my Short Term 12 homework a couple months ago. Did you have? Did you write a thesis about it? I own short. Yes, Kuzma, of course. It's great. It's fantastic. And that's what a great example. Seen it twice. Galliette. That is why Short Term 12 is a perfect example of a film that catches fire in Hollywood. All the execs watch it, and then everyone in it goes on to bigger and better things. We've seen that throughout the years with films, right? People come out of certain projects. And if you look at Short Term 12, that is not easy to say. You look at not just the actors I mentioned, but Cretton coming out of that and getting the Marvel movie. Now, granted, he had Just Mercy in between there, a film none of you saw. That was okay. It was fine. I had way too many cars going from point A to point B transitions. That's the one note I would have about Just Mercy if I was in the Warner Brothers screening room. Like, why does every scene in this film have Michael B. Jordan driving his car from this place to this place? He's like, I'm going to go from the office to the jail, from the jail to my house. And every transition is his car pulling up. Like the lamest thing that I've ever, there are a bunch of super chats. Galliette's like just overloading the super chats tonight. Well, it's because I don't want to talk about that idiot anymore. So I'm not going to do those. Anything but that. I'm done. That's not going to happen. I told you guys, honestly, listen, here's the truth. Whoever the people are that want to come after me and hate me, that's fine. But I can tell you this: I'm not going to give them oxygen. I'm not going to pay attention to them because they mean nothing to me. If you want to, and I always say this: if you have something you want to say to me, make it to my face. Make it at one of the screenings here in LA. I'm here, and then we'll have a discussion. And trust me when I say I'm not going to run. So that's just that simple. I'm not going to play games on Twitter. We're going to do it in person if you want to do it. But honestly, I'm not even going to even entertain these things. I have too much going on in my existence to worry about trolls, subhumans that just don't. Here's the reality too. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, as I always am. And look, he's getting serious. Watch out. Weber's getting serious. When you're out doing things, when you're somebody who is a doer, who goes out into the world and does things and gives back and does all kinds of things that you guys don't even see that I do in my life. It's not just about movies. There's so many things I do. Here's the truth. That is going to be troublesome for a lot of people, especially for people that don't do things. They are going to look at you as that guy. I don't like that guy because he does things. He's not fat. He's not, whatever it is. Don't hate. Use that stuff to make you better. You worried about somebody else, and granted, we've talked about Grace Randolph, but I don't think about Grace Randolph or Chris Stuckman or any of these people. I don't have time for that, nor, just do your thing, right? When we started this channel, it's just about this. It's not about trying to be something else. It's what this is. It's what we're doing. We're not trying to be Grace Randolph or Chris Stuckman or any of these people. That's not what, I don't want to do that because there's only one of you. Oh God, here come the cliches. So be that best you. What's the movie where it does that? Like he says that, he goes, oh, be the best you can be. And he's like, oh God. There's so many movies like that, but there's one in particular I'm thinking of that it's literally like that. And here it is. Yeah. You're talking about Barbie. No, listen, Barbie. Listen, guys, please come back as we have like 3 minutes. Tell me that Barbie trailer looks bad. Do not defend the Barbie trailer. The only defense for the Barbie trailer is that you hope that it is going to be something other than what the trailer's giving you. Because that trailer, when he talks about beach you off, like that's a bad joke and it just keeps going. It was funny for a second. There's another example as we almost are done here. We talked about Shazam. We talked about Mario and now Barbie. The joke is like, I'm going to beat you off. That's funny real fast, right? You hear. Then he goes, no, I'm going to beat you off. And the other person goes, I'm going to beat you off. And you're like, okay, yeah, but it's not that funny. It's not that funny. Hype for Maxine. Who isn't, Luke? Welcome to the channel, by the way, Luke. Anyone who's not commenting, please do so. Don't be afraid. I don't care if it's a junky comment. Just come in. How often do you let's redo that. How many times do you rewatch films you like? A lot. I mean, I've watched Drive 15 times. I've watched Taxi Driver 5. Drive's probably 15. Social Network's got to be approaching 10. But if you talk about like little bits of the film, something like Real Genius, I've probably watched 100 times. Just like sections here, sections there. But Drive is by far a film because listen, remember, if you guys missed, I'll make it very short. When I was in Boston, hanging out with Ken Murray, watching movies there, we saw Drive, and I'll never forget watching that at a 2:00 screening. And I remember something inside of me changing at that moment, going, you need to get back out to LA. You love Los Angeles. Why are you in Boston? Even though I really love Boston, it's a great city. But there was something at that moment when I watched Drive. Drive is a time capsule of the moment that I decided I was going to come back to LA, and I knew it was inevitable. it was going to happen. So that's why I keep going back to that film. And the other thing about Drive is when you watch that film, I knew from watching it, you can tell when they shot the film. If you are an LA native, if you spent any time out here, you know that that's the fall. The angle of the sun, which Refn does a fantastic job. Go watch that film. Every shot has the sun coming down. It's shot in the magic hour. There's so much of that film that's just shot perfectly, but it's shot in September, October, November. The fall in LA, I know it's not a traditional fall, but I'm telling you, it's awesome. I love it. It's my favorite season. Even, I know all of you love fall, but fall out here is pretty good too. But when you watch Drive, you see a film that captures those months and those moments. And it's just a great, 100%. That's true. It's true. When you watch the channel, it's like I'm all chill, and all of a sudden I go, and then screw this person and this and that and the other. And then, okay, now I'm back to normal. And then it's just like, we'll just go up and down on that. I actually rewatched Wolf of Wall Street in a theater tonight. Oh man, that's so awesome. I gotta watch it again. I loved it the first. I mean, listen, I've only watched it once. I love Wolf of Wall Street. I will say, and I hope you agree with this, Johnny, even if you didn't like it the second time, that this is Leo's best acting performance of anything that he has done ever. Certainly better than The Revenant. He should have won for Wolf of Wall Street. We have actors throughout the history of the Oscars who win for something they shouldn't win and should have won for this. And that would be example A. Boom. Leo, Wolf of Wall Street, not Revenant, right? Let's do 5 minutes, less than 5. T-minus under 5. Albert Brooks is unbelievable in Drive. Patrick, I couldn't agree with you more. Remember when that was going down and he did not get nominated for an Oscar for supporting, even though every critics group was like, Albert Brooks, Drive, Albert Brooks, and then he didn't get the Oscar, and he was like, I was robbed. And then like a few minutes later, it was like when Twitter was like just kind of getting going. And then a few minutes later, he was like, no, literally, I was robbed. My place was robbed. But it was perfectly timed joke. Why have we not seen more of Albert Brooks after Drive? I would have put him in everything. He is diabolical in that film. Like, you should never believe that he is a psychopath. The producer psychopath that he is in Drive. And then you watch it and you go, oh, this is acting. This is why we need to, and this is one of the reasons that I created Sunset Circle, to get these performances into the conversation like that. Now, granted, he had a lot of support that year, but we need to start identifying things like Jason Bateman in Air, going back to Viola Davis in Air, very good. Other supporting Jonathan Majors in Creed 3. Granted, off the field, we have issues, but the performance that I see in the film is supporting. We need to start really getting these things into the conversation much more so than, we'll just give it just a general, paintbrushing. We need to get it more seriously in, and that's why we are going to continue to push these things. But Albert Brooks in Drive is a perfect example of that. I mean, a really wonderful example. Margot Robbie, oh my God, I forgot she was so hot in that movie, wasn't she? We all were like, oh my, that scene. Margot Robbie. Like, when you watch Wolf of Wall Street and he's at the party and he looks across and sees Margot Robbie, that's how we all would be, right? We all be like, these women are all hot, but that, help me out, guys. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go next? Where am I going? I had the same moment in my own life when I was at a party and I looked across the room and I saw, and I said, oh my God, that's the same moment I had. I'm not even going to say it. You guys are going to say it in the comments. I'm not going to say it because you guys know. It's not even important. If I do it, and you all, Malcolm, even people that now like Malcolm, I don't know if I've ever heard from Malcolm before. It's Elizabeth, because Elizabeth Olsen is drop dead gorgeous. I can't you just gotta trust me on this. And so I talked to Margot Robbie for like a hot second at the Critics' Choice Awards when I was drunk. I had minimum 3-4 vodka tonics. And for me, that's like 10 for the average person. And I went up and I was like, I was composed. I go, Margot, I just want to know, I loved you and I, Tanya. I think you're amazing. Can I get a quick selfie? I don't even know if I did get a selfie. But now I wouldn't do that. Was the old, Chris Gore is pretty attractive though. I know, Murray. This is a bingo time. Scarlet Witch. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap here. I'm exhausted. She looks like a lemur. Patrick, watch it. This will get you. Patrick is such an insightful commenter. He's got great takes, but you can't say that Elizabeth Olsen looks like a lemur. When you do that, you run the risk of getting run out of the chat forever. You'll get a permanent ban. You'll never be back. I don't want to do it, Patrick. But when you say that Elizabeth Olsen looks like a lemur, you've crossed a line, and it's really you've really in danger zone right now. You are in a bad spot, Patrick. Okay, watch it. I'll see you guys Sunday night. Not tomorrow. We're not back tomorrow. We just did tomorrow's show tonight. We did it 24 hours early. I'll see you back here Sunday night for the Sunday Night Spectacular, the flagship show on MMT, live from Los Angeles. That's it for tonight. I'll see you guys Sunday. Good night. MMT is out. Good night.